guys, how you doing? Welcome aboard the Carrie B. We're going to be together about an hour and a half. You better get to know your narrator. Got a rough job. My dad came up to me and said, David, you got no job, you got no money, you're a bum. I said, Dad, I'm only 5. Do you think kindergarten will straighten me out? Sheesh. Birthday present for my 7th birthday. Bathtub toys, hair dryer, and a toaster. Over to your right, see that place right there with the green trim? Oldest house in Fort Lauderdale, Frank and Ivy Stranahan's place. They had a trading business with the Seminole Indians there. Frank was a local banker, his wife was a school teacher. That was a bank, country store, their house, and everything else all in one. We're spinning around over a tunnel right now, US Highway 1, about 20 feet down. And behind us, soon to be on the left-hand side, that green place is the first hotel on the river, the Riverside Hotel, built in the 1930s. An actor came to cut the ribbon for the hotel when it opened, and later, when he became president, would only stay here, President Ronald Reagan. Now, over to your right-hand side, up the river, that way, about 20 miles or so, we'd be out in the Everglades. Tell you more about that, the river and everything else coming up here shortly. But in the meantime, let's get you acquainted with your crew on board today. Our first mate today, right now, is Jay. We also have Lisa at the bar. She's the most important person on the boat because she's taking care of the bar. And we got Captain Jack up here, Captain Jack Sparrow we call him. My name's Dave, I'll be your tour guide. And that's about all I got. You guys got anything? Nothing? All right, thanks for coming with us. We'll see you when we get back. Okay, I thought of a couple things. Over here to your right, this yellow place right here, Jim Noggle, longest serving mayor in Fort Lauderdale history, 6 consecutive terms, very popular mayor. Jim's got a yellow house, a yellow shed, a yellow lab, a blonde wife, blonde kids. We call him Old Yeller. Over to the left-hand side, there's a house coming up with arches there under the trees. That place, built in 1912 for John Wesley Needham, later became the John Robert Powers Modeling School for Girls. Look at the grass between us and the girls' school. The models used to go out there and sunbathe, and for some reason the Carrie B seemed to break down a lot right about here. Next up on your left-hand side, you got the green condos. You can get a waterfront condo there for about $50,000. Back in 1970, right now they're about $300,000. Coming up on on your left-hand side, this white house with the green shutters, built out of a wood called Dade County pine, impervious to insects and won't rot. But unfortunately, they'll never build another one out of that wood. It only grew around Miami. And back then, they used every single tree. It's totally extinct. And next up on your left-hand side, looks like a tiki hut, but here in South Florida, they're actually called cheeky huts. They're built by the Seminole Indians. You have a Seminole Indian build your cheeky hut, you don't need a permit. Check out the old boat just ahead on the left. That's from 1947. They're restoring that thing. It's coming out pretty nice, actually. Cheers to up there. Now, the house on the inside of it has a huge kitchen. Everything from the center doorway and left downstairs is kitchen.
Got scones here.
Anybody know Nick Saban, coach of Alabama? He used to coach the Dolphins down there. Wayne Huizenga owned the team back then, and as you'll see, he owned a lot of Fort Lauderdale. He's kind of like Wayne's World. Coming up on your right, they're building a dock. There's a pool in front of the house there. That house, Wayne Huizenga owned that one. He let the coach live there absolutely free. He's a nice little perk for being coach of the Dolphins. And just beyond that, on your left-hand side, or I'm sorry, on your right-hand side coming up, you'll see the Seafoam Green Place. That's where they filmed the 1991 movie Cape Fear with Robert De Niro and Nick Nolte. Pulled out the palm trees, put in pine trees, painted it white, made it look like North Carolina. Now you might be wondering why they filmed that movie right here. About the time Nick Nolte lived here, he was under house arrest for drunk driving, so they brought the movie to Nick. Nick Nolte. Over to your left-hand side, the Orange Place, the Egan's, they started Alamo Rent-A-Car. That company's original name, you might remember, it was first called Rent-A-Wreck. And the next two bends in the river are called Tarpon Bend. Check out the beautiful house here on the corner on the left side, right here on the corner. This was originally built and lived in by the Bell family. What did they do? They started Taco Bell, called that the Taco Bell house. And if you read the books or saw the movie, Harry Potter house coming up here to the right. Wayne Huizenga paid the people from Universal Orlando to come down, design and build this house. $26 million. When it was finished, he gave it to his niece Holly as a wedding present. That is a wedding present sitting there. Who wants to be Holly? Right next to Holly's house, that river's Tarpon River. This is Tarpon Bend in the New River. If you look over to your left in front of Taco Bell, you got the rocks. Look at the crocodile on the rocks. That's an original prop from the early Tarzan movies that were filmed here with Johnny Weissmuller. To the right of that, you got a bush, of course, shaped like a bell. And then the end of the roof line there, look at the roof line under the tree with no leaves. You see that on every Taco Bell. The window, the original drive-thru.
Wow.
And then to the right of Taco Bell, you got the burnt orange trim place. Beautiful house there. That's the CEO of Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casinos here in Hollywood. Anybody help pay for that one? Over to your right where the boat is, and all around Tarpon Bend and on down Midway's Wayne Huizenga. Wayne owned the Miami Dolphins, the Florida Marlins, and the Panthers. Sold those teams. The family still holds on to about 5% of the Miami Dolphins. Check out the bell tower. The bells up top played about 500 of Wayne's favorite songs. Jacuzzi on the second deck, infinity pool below, and the trim up there is real gold. See the chairs out here? Wayne would sit out here about 80% of the time when the boats were going by, waving at everybody. He's the coolest billionaire ever. He actually also would hang out with regular people, unlike all these other billionaires. He'd been on this boat 3 times with his family. With everybody else, he could buy this boat a zillion times over. And actually steered it twice. It didn't hit anything about it. Now, over to your right, the sculptures right. Oh, by the way, I've got to tell you, unfortunately, Wayne passed away about 5 years ago. They sold this property to Chuck West. He's the founder of Pet Supermarkets. He's the new one. Check out the sculptures of the dolphins right there. All of Wayne's family had those in their yard when they were the Miami Dolphins, as you know. And off to your right, you got the green place with the brown door. That little place is the gardener's house. The tractor goes in and out of the brown door there. And the last piece there is the theater. Now, Wayne started a whole bunch of companies, 3 major ones you might have dealt with or heard of before. Blockbuster Video, Auto Nation, anyways. Over to your left, Kenneth Simmergrand's house. He owns an investment firm, and straight behind us, the tower back there called One Financial Plaza. And next, just ahead on your left, you'll see the property coming up with rocks out front. No house over there. That's because they knocked it down about 4 years ago when the lady that lived there died. Her name, Virginia Wells, as in Wells Fargo. She was the matriarch, grandmother of the family. When she died, they actually knocked down the house and actually outlined in rocks over there. You can see where the house used to be. It's been like this for about 3 years. Wells Fargo owns about 90% of the expensive storefronts on Los Olas Boulevard. Wells Fargo owns about 90% of my house. Hey, that's not that funny. You know what I found out? These people want money every single month now. Over there to the left, any ladies on the boat like to meet a recent billionaire? He's a bachelor, 41 years old. Built this place 3 years ago for $11.5 million. How to get rich so quick? He has a program online that helps other companies advertise their companies easier. And just ahead on the left, we got this house coming up, slanted roof from the 60s. You'll never guess whose place this used to be. He actually used to live at Aunt Bee's house with Opie. Hang out with Barney all the time. Sheriff Taylor, Andy Griffith's old vacation home is still here. Now, ladies, we know of 2 bachelors on this entire tour, and they just happen to live right next to each other. We got another bachelor right here. He is from Canada. He's 80-some years old. And he this is not a joke, this is for real, loves to come out here and work on these plants or be on a paddleboard wearing only his neon green thong. And it ain't a pretty sight. Over to your left-hand side coming up, you'll see the stairs going up to the porch. You got the tan roof there and the 2 chimneys. Harris Hudson, Wayne Heisinger's best buddy growing up. They went to school together. Then he married Wayne's sister, became his brother-in-law. Now, they also started Waste Management together. Wayne borrowed $8,000 from his sister to buy an old trash truck. Harris and Wayne would run that trash truck around collecting trash themselves. When the company got big, Wayne made Harris the general manager for many years, and he retired maybe about 10 years ago. He unfortunately died as well. Over to your left-hand side, another piece of Wayne's World, the yellow place right there, Pam Heisinger. She sold that 10 years ago. The current owners just bought it about 6 months ago. They moved in. They paid about $28 million for this. Are you ready? It has 8 bedrooms and 16 bathrooms. His and her for each bedroom. Over to your left-hand side, you got the empty lot, the blue flower pots, then the gold house just ahead. Same owner, different properties. On the empty property, they're going to build a bigger house. Next house right here will be the guest house when that happens. This is the former CEO of Kohl's department stores. Anybody ever shop at Kohl's? Yeah. Anybody ever use that Kohl's cash? Yeah. Look what they bought with your cash. Over to your right-hand side, see all the palm trees, the white trim on that house? Fort Lauderdale's biggest drug dealer, the CEO of Walgreens. Now, as we come around the corner, we're going to be turning on the Intercoastal Waterway that runs from Brownsville, Texas, around the Gulf of Mexico, around Florida, on the eastern seaboard, over 3,000 miles long. And we'll be on a piece of it heading to the port today. Brand new mansion on the corner coming up. This is what a new one looks like. They just moved in less than a year ago. Bruce Paddock. He had a pharmaceutical company up in Duluth, Minnesota. Sold it about 6 years ago for $550 million. Came down, bought this lot empty for $8.5 million. Began to build the house. It took 5 long years to build, but it did come out beautifully. As you'll see, as we come around the corner, just check it out as you go around. By the way, check out the grass. I have 2 jobs, narrating on here, and I cut their grass with scissors. Now over to your right-hand side, you'll see the tall palm trees. There's a royal palm trees. That surrounds a house there with white pillars. They call that the Fort Lauderdale White House. You'll see as we come around the front here. This place right here owned by Jack Hutchins. Jack Hutchins used to work for General Motors as an engineer. Back in the early days, they were having problems with their car air conditioners freezing up all the time. So one night in his garage, he came up with a little clutch that would turn on and turn off the air conditioner, solving the freezing issue. He wanted to patent this idea and sell it back to General Motors for $500,000. They said, "Jack, you work for us. That's our idea." He didn't see it that way, so he took him to court. 10 years later, he finally won. He won $2.50 for every air conditioner they made, which made him hundreds of millions of dollars. Jack's got another place like this in Costa Rica, lives there about half the time. Now, unfortunately, Jack's getting older like everybody else. Jack's in his 90s. He's also been legally blind for the past 30-some years. Don't feel too bad for Jack. A few years ago, Jack met a beautiful 26-year-old bartender from downtown. They got married. Jack's feeling his way around just fine right now. He's all right. Now, over to your right-hand side, you'll see some boats facing out of the dock just ahead up there. That's where the bigwigs hang out. That's the Lauderdale Yacht Club. You don't have to have a yacht to belong to the yacht club, just yachts and yachts of money. $100,000 application fee. If you're accepted, $25,000 a year after that. Dock rent, extra. Now on the Caribbean, you don't have to sit still. You don't even have to sit down. You can walk around up front if you're up top here. It's a very nice place to go. You can sit on the dock, just stand by the railings. If you need to smoke, the only smoking section is down by the paddle on the back. Jay and Lisa downstairs at the bar for you, taking care of the air conditioning down there, of course. And you can go all the way up front downstairs by the water there as well. So just move around, enjoy the boat a little bit. We'll give you a chance to relax, put some music on, and go down to the port, see what's going on down there. And once we pick up the other way, we'll pick up the second part of the tour. Hope you enjoyed the first part. to your left-hand side, you see the tower there, all the little buildings, secret Navy installation. Don't tell anybody I told you. What they do here is nuclear submarine testing just offshore. Water gets down to 1,500 feet really quickly out there. And which also makes this one of the easiest seaports for ships to come in and out of around the world. Very wide inlet, very deep inlet. Down to 1,500 feet pretty quick. As soon as you get past the two markers out there, they go right or left. You don't have to watch out for anything. Now, speaking of the secret Navy installation over here, look to your left. You see that black sign with the red letters? It says no anchoring from here to Dania Pier. The reason for that? If you had your anchor out down there and a sub came through, you're going for a quick ride. Now, over to your left-hand side, you got this building coming up. It says Nova Southeastern University. The glass in the front there. Underneath, there's a dark scribbled name in tall, dark letters. That's Guy Harvey. He's the guy who paints the fish scenes. They put them on t-shirts and paintings. He has a foundation to protect your reef. In that building, they house live samples of every type of world. This way, if one type were to become extinct, they could repopulate it with the samples in the building over there. They also do shark and turtle research, and the land and funding for that building provided by Wayne Huizenga. Now we have, let's see here, I think about 4 cruise ships in here today, something like that. Imagine 15. Port Everglades holds the world record for the most cruise ships in any port. 15 cruise ships here several years ago, all at once. That's a pretty big deal because the closest competitor anywhere in the world, the top number was 7. Not likely to be broken anytime soon. So, oh, and by the way, that port just happened to be Miami. We also have the world-famous Queen Mary 2 coming here a lot. Actually made its maiden voyage from England to Port Everglades. Comes here a lot, actually sits on the other side where the apex is, usually sits over there. Queen Mary 2 quite a bit different from regular cruise ships. That's because it's an ocean liner. It's built 3 times stronger than these ships. And that's so it keeps speed across the ocean. It doesn't have to go around the sun. All these ships, if they go across the ocean, they have to slow down to go around. So all comes out of Port Everglades. Very busy seaport. Down to the left, down the intercoastal that way, we'd be in Dania Beach, Hollywood Beach, Sunny Isles, Miami, eventually Key West down there. And way down there you can see the Dania Beach Bridge up, the 2 sections of the bridge straight up right now. To your right-hand side, this beach named after the lady who created it, it's called Wilma Beach. Hurricane Wilma came in, blew this sand up here. These people weren't too happy about it at the time. They used to have deep water dockage here. As a matter of fact, around the corner, you might have seen coming out, there's a whole bunch of empty docks halfway to the bridge. That's because at low tide, they are high and dry too because of this sand. Now they asked the Corps of Engineers to dredge this out. They told them it would cost approximately $1 million per house. As you can see, they still have a beach. rotates once every 66 minutes, and many more 66s throughout the building. Anybody want to take a guess as to how old the guy was who owned film 66 when he died? 82. Now, a couple days ago, we had Steven Spielberg's boat, the 7 Seas, sitting here. These yachts, just like the ships, change out all the time. We never know from day to day what we're going to have. Today, we got the Arrow sitting here. The Arrow is fairly new. It's only a few years old. It costs $250 million. It's a bed ship, top of the line yacht. Just over 300 feet. And if you'd like to charter out this boat, it all goes by size, by the way. You can charter this one out for just about $1.2 million per week. That does not include expenses that you don't pay. You have to fill it up first, so it's going to be about $4,000 per week. Then on top of that, you got to pay your 30% captain in the room. You also have to buy your own food and drinks so they can serve it back to you. Another $2.5 million or something like that. Now, it's a lot cheaper to come on and carry a lead. It holds 300. You bring all your friends. Now, that is a fed ship. I want you to remember that because I'll show you other fed ships later. I'll tell you about it. Coming up here in the bridge, that's 17th Street Causeway to the left, downtown Fort Lauderdale, to the right, Fort Lauderdale Beach. Now, the whole complex of Pier 66 is 34 acres. Guess who used to own that? Wayne Huizinga. Now, he sold it. The new owner is British billionaire Joe Lewis. Joe Lewis, about 83 years old. He's the guy doing the upgrades over here. He brings his 3 yachts here quite often at different times, of course, not all at once. The biggest one was here recently, a couple weeks ago. The biggest one would take up from the beginning of the Polar Star up there, about 3/4 of the way back to this one. And it is the only yacht in the world to have a full-size tennis court built inside. And if you'd like to see that, type it in your phone. Tennis courts. So, the Polar Express over here, or the Polar Express, Polar Star over here, that is actually owned by the builder of the boat. Sometimes these yacht builders will build a yacht and they just decide to keep it and they charter it. And that is over to your left, that Gene Chaser, that is like a shadow boat they call it. That is the boat that follows the yacht around. He has a boat called the Gene Machine. And then over to your left-hand side, you got this restaurant, the Great Place with the white trim. This is the 15th Street Fisheries. Usually there's a big fish on top of the restaurant, but they took it down because they just put a new roof on it. They put that fish back up because they're famous for that fish. You can hand feed them right there between the docks. Big tarpon fish get up to 400 pounds, and you can hand feed them there. Downstairs casual, upstairs more upscale, 15th Street Fisheries. If you look over to your right, you see that beautiful house right here on the corner with all the palm trees straight over. That used to have a strange character that had that. He had a yellow tinge to his skin, green blood, pointy ears, and he was second in command on the ship. The Starship Enterprise. That was Spock's house. A lot of people had that as a vacation. They filmed a lot of music videos over there. Usher, Blake Shelton, Kenny Chesney all did videos there. favorite fast food joint. Oh, we do have a pirate. Arr, sir. Arby's. Alright, Wendy's house in just a minute.
Hopefully it goes through.
To your right, that tan house with a three-quarter circle on top, Dave Thomas of Wendy's Old Fashioned Hamburgers. He used to work for Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken back in the early days, dreaming of his own restaurants. Later, with some help from Colonel Sanders, he got to start Wendy's, named after Wendy. Wendy's got the place now. She's usually only there about once a year between Christmas and New Year's, but this year, during our Christmas lake cruises every night, nothing. No lights. Next to Wendy, you got the big yellow place here. Unique feature of this house. Look over the main doorway, you'll see a mirror reflecting back at you. That's the bathroom up top. Never any curtains. The bathtub's right next to the window. Now, the Hellers moved in 7 years ago. When Mrs. Heller moved in, she did put the hedge up there to block it, but before that, it was always just wide open. And it's a real bathroom. They go up there. You see people in there. Now, the hedge, no hedge before, might explain the previous owner. The previous owner was a plastic surgeon. Now, the Hellers are the exciting billionaires in town right now. They actually perform parties here all the time. And they actually use their yacht, the Tanzanite there. They'll take that out. I think they were out 2 days ago, which is kind of weird. You know, most people that have a yacht, they just sit for it. Behind that, you'll see the peach-colored house with a chimney up there. The founders of Burger King. Burger King started here in South Florida. So just like the streets anywhere else here on the Venice of America in the water, you got Burger King. Wendy's over there, and Taco Bell up there. Now, right next to Burger King, you got that big house coming up with the palm trees, the orange roof, the arches, and the long white dock. Doug and Linda Von Allman. What do they do? L'Oreal. Property taxes over there, about $1,000 every day. Electric bill, $3,000 or $4,000. A little more in December with all the Christmas lights they have out. Now, the Van Allmans have been married a long time, almost 50 years. They found the secret to a perfect marriage. She lives over there at the left end, he lives right over here. Coming up on your right, just ahead, the big white place here, Donald Sussman, New China Capital Management, Colombo Funds is what he does. This is a $34 million vacation home, hardly ever here. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, just ahead, he spent another $10 million. There's a hedge up there with a basketball/tennis court. He bought the neighbor's house for $10 million, knocked it down to build the courts, and we've never seen anyone ever play on the courts. You know, we've seen a lot of people's houses and things, and a lot more to go, but I just want to know, would you guys like to see where I live? Alright, okay, right over here, I got a cool little slide that comes down from upstairs. It's pretty fun, pretty fun. You guys want to come over tonight and hang out? Let's do something over here. It'll be our luck, we're over there and he finally comes here, you know? Now, coming up, you're going to see an empty lot. Just ahead of the empty lot, there's a house with some towers on top. The founders of LA Fitness. And then 2 houses ahead of this house, you're going to see on your right side a boat out of the water. The white place with the dark tinted windows, the statues out front. You can almost see Crockett and Tubbs running around there. The Miami Vice house. 8 episodes of Miami Vice were filmed here. This is owned by producer of the show, Michael Mann. Some unique features. Up top, you'll see a bunch of exercise equipment. That's the gym. The middle window, there's a motorcycle. That's a motorcycle bar. To the left of that, a white baby grand piano. But the coolest thing about the Miami Vice house is the pool. Once we pass the boat, look at the pool. Look back to the center of the house, lift up the gate, it goes right into the living room. Next up on the corner to our right, the tan place, Tom Cruise. Oh no, this is Tom Cruise with a K. He's the guy who invented the hover-around scooter. This is also where they filmed the movie Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino. Next up, to your right, see the white place, the square place with the chimney? They built that 2 years ago. Before that was there, that's where Lucy and Desi Arnaz's place was forever. The new owner here who built this is a recent billionaire who's spending money like it's going out of style. His name is David McNeil. David McNeil built this and recently bought a $26 million property an hour north here in Wellington, just west of Palm Beach. And he bought a yacht recently for $80 million that's used. It's 190 feet long. Now, I'll tell you what he does. Maybe you'll figure it out. He sells floor mats, and his yacht's name is just W. Yeah, that's the WeatherTech guy. Over to your right, see that crane? Right past the crane, you see the big yellow place back there? Scottie Pippen's house, Chicago Bulls. And we are coming up to Bahia. Translated means ocean bay, the ocean off to our right and ahead of us. This is kind of like a bay. You can see it. Largest location for the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show Halloween weekend. One of the world's most famous yachting centers, known in the yachting circles around the world. And if you'd like to dock your boat here, you can do so for only $8 a night. If your boat was 12 inches long, it's $8 per foot per night. Does not include electric or water. The WeatherTech boat sitting in its normal spot, and the other boats always change out. The WeatherTech boat, if you look over here, the front of it's got a little cutout right there in the gray part. Then the back of the Plan B's got a cutout. Those are called toy storage. That's where they keep all the wave runners, the little motorcycles, ATVs, things like that. The W, by the way, is another Fed ship, just like the Arrow back there. You'll notice it looks totally different. I'll tell you more about that coming up. Major William Lauderdale was sent down from Tennessee to command the troops during the Second Seminole Indian Wars. He built 3 forts here. The biggest fort out here on the beach, the mid-sized fort at Wayne Huizinga's property up the river, and 2 more miles up the river, a smaller fort. And eventually, Fort Lauderdale was named for him. Now, right behind the blue and white boat here, you'll see the butterfly house. It looks like a butterfly from the sky, but you can see it here. See the wing tops on both sides? It's kind of like a front of the wings on the top. These staircases coming down, the antenna part of the butterfly, the mouth underneath there. Lots of parking up there, 10 vehicles and 2 stretch limos. The man and his wife who built this love butterflies. And they also built some butterfly boat that you can visit in Coconut Creek, Fort Lauderdale area. This sits in a community called Idlewild, the first upscale community here in Fort Lauderdale. Now these yachts are always changing out. The bookends back there is owned by, you might think he writes books or something. No, his name's Bob Bill. He has aerospace industry stuff. Archimedes is owned by what they call the modern day Howard Hughes. His name is Jim Simons. He's worth over $24 billion. He's a hedge fund manager. By the way, this is a Fed ship too. Notice they all look different. Fed ship is top of the line builder in yachts, and they will build any style you want. And this one is pulled up here, I guess. I haven't seen this one for a while. Now, coming up just ahead of the Liberty here, you're going to see the weird looking thing in the sky up there. That is part of the $22 million upgrade of the Swimming Hall of Fame. That's the new dive platform. It's currently the tallest dive platform in the Western Hemisphere. Now, we have only seen, you see somebody up there getting ready to jump off of that lower one, one of the lower ones, right? We've only seen, since that thing's been open in 3 months, as we've been around here, we've only seen 2 people jump off the top. Most people go to the top, look over the side, and walk away slowly. Well, the second one that we saw jump was the funniest, because the stands had people, and we had a boat full of people, and they started cheering, jump, 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 and these guys joined in, and it was everybody going in, the guy actually jumped. Yeah. Are you going to be diving? No, are you going to be diving? You think they're going to dive from the top? straight through the bridge and kept going north, we would not have to go in the ocean until we got to northern New Jersey, Point Pleasant. The only wide bodies of water on the way up, the Chesapeake Bay and the Delaware Bay. Alright. Oh, if anybody has happened by any chance been to a Flanagan's in South Florida, they're all over the place. Flanagan's house right there behind the flag. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll be at the old Rum Runner's house from the early 1900s. Over to your left-hand side, right behind the boats here, see that big yellow place over there? That's the new firehouse on the beach. The inlet actually used to go out here before they moved it in 1928 down to Port Everglades when they built that. Rum runners used to run rum from the islands late at night, sneaking it in. We got an old rum runner's house here to the right. Over there, you'll see a big, round, bushy tree. In just a second, you'll see a bunch of roots coming down. That's a banyan tree. Soon, you'll see the roots really clearly. As soon as all this other stuff gets out of the way. And when you look to the right of the roots, you'll see an old rum runner's house way back in there. Beautiful old place back there. Now remember how far back that is, because that's the other side of the house. Here's the front of it over here. This is the same place. Look at the covered walkway between the two sections. What most people did not know in the early 1900s is that there's also tunnels between the two sections. That's where they hid the rum. This place owned by Mike Rooney Car Dealerships. He sold those to Wayne Heising, and they became a part of AutoNation. Wayne hired Mike as his general manager of AutoNation for many years. He just retired, lives here full time. Well, you better get some pictures of the next place coming up, because it's going to be gone soon, unfortunately. I can't believe they're knocking this one down. This place kind of started to blow. This is where they filmed the 1960 movie Where the Boys Are with Connie Francis and George Hamilton. That movie started Spring Break. Spring Break started right there. Now, Fort Lauderdale is called the Venice of America, mainly Lynchburg, Gloria Vanderbilt's place is right there. And next up, turn right just ahead. Must be a lot of money at pet stores. I told you Chuck West got a pet store. Well, here we go. We got another one. Over there you see the two chimneys, a beautiful house there. That's the Sonos in Lauderdale. That's good. Been there a long time. That's a logo from a shirt. The Lacoste people used to own that house. When they moved out, the Otis elevator people moved in, left the logo right there on the rocks. Next up, they're building a dock here. The two trees on the corner by the water, those are Royal Poinciana trees. 3 months out of the year, they got bright red flowers. The tall trees back there are coconut palms. Lots of people say, I don't see a coconut. Well, that's because they cut off. Because at that height, if they fell on your head, they either knock you out or kill you. So make sure. And they're building a house right here to the right. It used to be a different house on this property recently. They got a record show $6 million man, Lee Majors. He was married to Farrah Fawcett. That's where that house was. They didn't knock it down though. It had major Fawcett problems. See how you guys are? I told you how I grew up with the toasters and